Hello and welcome to episode 395 of the Destiny Community Podcast, DCP plus SideQuest. It's going to be a lot more SideQuest, I think, than DCP, just as FYI. For those listening in, we do have some Destiny stuff, though. Should we get that out of the way right off the bat?
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah.
All right. So we got a new exotic mission.
Yeah, so it was a big week for the Echoes Act 3 launched this week. So continuation of the narrative. We got the new exotic mission, which some people found out the hard way that you don't get anything from that mission
drama.
if you have not completed all of the story activities, all the story beats and steps up to that point. So like a lot of people, you know, their buddy was like, oh, I've got access to the mission, just hop into my fire team. So they hopped on the fire team, did the mission, got to the end, got nothing as a reward.
Oof.
So so you do have to be caught up on the story beats to get the exotic.
What was the story, TV?
Well, it was actually kind of interesting. I will say I didn't think that the exotic mission itself was all that exciting. I thought the environments were pretty, but in terms of like mechanics and what you're actually doing, I thought it was actually pretty forgettable. So much so that, I mean, I was doing the mission with my good friend KJ Hovey, and we got to this boss that felt like a mid-mission boss, right? It was
Tell him I said hi next time you talk to him.
Absolutely.
I'm a big KJ Hovey fan.
He and I talk every day. He is like one of the realest dudes in the history of the Destiny community. Love that guy. Anyways, yeah, so it's just like a Hydra, right? And there's like a moving laser wall, which happens in things like strikes and battlegrounds and stuff like that. And we killed the Hydra and we were like, cool, now what? And it was like, you did it, you're done. Here's your gun. And we were like, oh.
Sweet.
I guess it's over. It was really forgettable. But the exotic itself, incredible. And there is this specific room in the exotic mission where you're really in Maya Sundaresh's lab, right? Like a mad scientist lab. Think Frankenstein's, Dr. Frankenstein's tower. And there's like exo corpses all over the place and test tubes. And she was basically like reviving her ex-lover, that she had, that they had an adopted daughter with, right? I don't know the lore super well, Mylan, so help me out.
You tell me.
Well, anyways, she's basically just continuing to revive her ex-lover and see if she's like the perfect version of herself that would exist in the perfect reality that she's trying to actualize. And she just continues to purge her and kill her in the tube because she's not it. Yeah.
Right. Maya Sundaresh and Chioma Essie, right? Those two.
Yeah, it's kind of spoopy. But they did have some great like cutscene stuff that showed both of their characters pre being exofied, right?
Oh, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, it was really neat. So I did appreciate the story beats and where we got with all that. So that was pretty cool. The exotic itself, it's seriously insane.
What is it?
It's an exotic auto rifle that takes special ammo.
Okay.
It's void. So when you ADS, it's precision. It's like big precision damage, and it just chews through ads, creates these void explosions. So it's great at ad control. It's basically like everything you would like about a rocket sidearm. You know how those are real meta in PvE for ad clear.
Right.
But then it takes it a step further. If you hip fire it, you know how the Vex Wyverns shoot these like sort of cross-shaped projectiles.
Oh, yeah.
You do that from the hip, and it does huge damage. Really? So they also added in a bunch of like a whole new row on the artifact of like auto rifle mods, like overload auto rifles reload themselves when you get a kill. So this thing's insane right now. And you can go into master difficulty activities, stun an overload champion, and then barrel stuff it and just hip fire, and it dies. And it's like, master difficulty overload champions are no joke. Normally, you want a little team fire tank. You can solo them in 2 seconds, right?
Oh.
It's nuts.
Talking of champions, on a side note, Once Human added a hard server, and they basically have Destiny champions in there where you have there are anomalies, and you have to use a certain weapon or you put on a certain perk to break their shield, and they just destroy you. It's like doing a GM in an open world. I was like, I wonder where they got this from.
That's right.
Turns out I still hate champions in any game.
No matter where they are.
Yeah.
So that was half of
Um,
the Destiny stuff this week that was noteworthy.
That's the
How do
big, the
people
other
feel
big
about
half.
that mission? Is it a little disappointing, like compared to
Oh.
like previous exotic missions?
I was expecting something more along the lines of 0 Hour or Whisper of the Worm,
Mhm.
and it was nowhere near that. It was, to me, it's like a strike.
Yeah.
Didn't have
Um,
the same vibes.
No, there was nothing about it that was noteworthy enough to really make it
Right.
stand out, you know?
Because wasn't this talked up a bit, or was that just the community talking it
It
up, or was it
was.
They
Bungie talking it
definitely were
up?
talking
It
it up.
was Bungie hyping it up. Yeah.
Hmm.
So, and I certainly don't want to crap on anybody's hard work. I do think the environments were pretty, but the mechanic was super basic. Like we were like, we walk into the room, we're like, oh, there's these podiums. I wonder what this means. And you're just like, it's just a relay. You pick it up and you take it to the next one. And it's
Right.
very simple. So,
Well, I think everyone's kind of still thinking that episode 1 is going to be. I mean, it's usually the season following an expansion is usually pretty light. So I think a lot of people might be holding judgment until we see what happens with episode 2, right? And all the changes they make, and if it
yeah.
has really changed with episodes compared with seasons and um, stuff like that. I feel like, maybe got the short end of the stick with the development on the back end of Final Shape.
So,
Because exotic
Revenant,
missions are usually really good. Like
they normally are. Yeah.
they're
I
always
think
really good.
Revenant, the next episode is supposed to come out is the 8th of October, I think. I want to say. Chat probably knows, but I think that's right. So until then, I really don't know what else to expect. I mean, assuming there is going to be some sort of a dramatic conclusion or showdown with Maya Sundaresh.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Because that didn't happen in the exotic mission. There's no closure there. It's more just discovering her more about what she's been up to.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, this is only This is the week 1 of Act 3,
Mm-hmm. And I will say, to be fair,
episode 1.
yeah, I will say, to be fair, the exotic mission is supposed to have more things that are week to week changing.
All
So,
right.
Oh, interesting.
but if
Okay.
they were trying to make a really good first impression, I didn't get it. But the exotic itself is pretty incredible.
Copy that. So that was half the news. You want to talk about the other half of the Destiny news this week?
Nope, Space Marine 2 comes out next week.
Yeah.
And
You know, I
yeah,
have
yeah,
a
we probably
holiday
should.
booked. I have a holiday booked next week,
Yeah.
leaving on the
That's
day
right.
it comes out. And of course, I booked it a year in advance and cannot change it.
Well, the game's
Nah.
still going to be there when you get back from holiday.
I know, but I want to play it on day 1.
I know, right?
That's what Steam Decks are for, Violin.
Oh, dude.
How long until you
Anyway.
can stream from a Steam Deck? When is that coming? When are they going to put a camera on
Right.
that thing? And OBS.
I was going to get the Steam Deck and then have an attachment with my phone just looking at the Steam Deck.
Yeah.
I like
Yeah,
it.
so there was
It's
some
like
news
this
about
looking
Christopher
up your
Barrett,
nose as
right?
you-
Yes, perfect. That is the new meta, up the nose streams.
Yeah.
So there's some news
Yes,
about
Chris
Christopher Barrett. It was from. Did you guys say it was from?
I was Jason Schreier
Jason
from
Schreier.
Bloomberg. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. I can read you some of the quotes,
Take it
but it was
away.
about
Yeah, please.
Christopher Barrett or Chris Barrett leaving Bungie earlier this year. He was fired after being accused. This is some quotes here. Fired this spring after he was accused by several female employees of inappropriate behavior, according to people familiar with the matter. So this is information of Jason Schreier interviewing some of these employees. They're all being kept anonymous, and so some of the like reporting is vague intentionally because they don't want to reveal their sources from it.
Right.
But this is on Bloomberg, and you can read it as well. Until last summer, he was also the director of Marathon, so he was the director of Marathon. Hoping to be the next big game for Bungie, but in late March suddenly left the company. Barrett was terminated following an internal investigation in which at least 8 female employees raised complaints earlier this year that he had behaved inappropriately toward them, according to 8 people, including multiple women who reported Barrett, as well as other Bungie employees who were either involved in the investigation or spoke to the women involved. I'll just keep going for a little bit. I've just got a couple more paragraphs.
Go
The
for it.
investigation found that Barrett called lower-level female employees attractive, asked them to play Truth or Dare, or made references to his wealth and power within the studio, suggesting that he could help advance their careers, according to 2 people familiar with the case. So then Christopher Barrett also gave a statement to Bloomberg. So in a statement to Bloomberg News, Barrett said that throughout the nearly 25 years at Bungie, I feel that I have always conducted myself with integrity and been respectful and supportive of my colleagues, many of whom I consider my closest friends. I never understood my communications to be unwanted and I would have never thought they could possibly have made anyone feel uncomfortable. If anyone felt that way about the interaction with me, I'm truly sorry. And that is the long and the short of it, really. So his statement is, I didn't think I was being inappropriate. Multiple women have come forward saying you were being inappropriate, and an internal investigation was raised, and he was fired. So that's where we're at.
And I also think it's worth noting that, you would almost feel like if there was some innocence there, that maybe somebody else at the studio might take his side, but it doesn't look like anybody has. In fact, some of the other team leads in Marathon, notably Tocom, who is the runner team lead for Marathon, just tweeted out a picture of Kermit sipping tea, when the news broke,
man.
which is certainly far from support.
Yeah.
As much as it is like, yep, kind of saw it. You know what I mean?
So-
And then we even had Liana, who formerly was, community manager there, had tweeted out Chris Barrett is not, her words, not a nice person.
So
Sick.
I actually met him, and he was the one that got me the Grimoire anthology when I was contracted to Bungie. And I don't know if you remember the IGN report quite a while ago now that, reported the kind of the old Vanguard Boys Club kind of deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that went through Bungie. And I spoke about when I was on the anthology team, I kind of got a glimpse into that kind of behavior with some of the things that I experienced. I didn't name anyone, but I did have other Bungie employees like message me privately and bring up Chris Barrett's name. And at that time, I'd already ever had pleasant experiences with him, but I was like, I haven't had that happen. Like, he's always been pleasant to me. But I felt like I was at the time, I was like, oh, that's odd they're bringing up his name. So like you say, I think it was known to be like that.
Sure.
So
It's wild, man, isn't
it
it?
took action. Yeah.
But yeah,
It is wild.
Yeah, kudos on Bungie for obviously taking it seriously enough to do an investigation and take care of business. I'm obviously wonder what that's also going to mean for Marathon moving forward. Obviously, if Chris Barrett was providing creative direction and leadership, and now we've got a new guy, is he going to have different vision? Different direction.
This comes after some reporting, I think, after the most recent round of layoffs, where some of the people who got laid off were reporting that Marathon was not in good place.
Which is also wild. Like, do you feel bad for, I don't feel bad for people who work at Bungie, passionate developers trying to get stuff out the door, and you hear things like Marathon struggling, all these incubation projects being canceled, other titles they're working on and IPs and all that stuff. And then also gut punch is that Destiny 3 isn't even a twinkle in mommy's eye at this point. It ain't nothing.
Right.
So where are we going from here? If it's episodic content, man, I just don't know if that's sustainable or
I don't know. Long-term outlook for Bungie doesn't look super hot right now, right? Like how long till Big Daddy Sony just says, "Okay, you're a support studio now."
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's a great question, honestly.
Yeah, I think someone brought in chat about Concord, and I think that'd be a pretty big eye opener, right? Like, of how badly a game can launch, because that Concord came out. I don't think it was out maybe it was early access last podcast, but
it's out now.
Objectively poor performance and launch, like with
Okay.
less than 1,000 players on,
Yeah, it was
on
like
launch.
750 max concurrent players on day one is
Yeah.
dead on arrival. But the
Yeah,
wild thing
and-
is, and I will admit, I haven't played it, right? I have not played Concord, but the people that I have talked to who have played it are like, honestly, the bones are not bad. Like the gunplay feels great, the movement feels great, playing the game feels good, but there are a lot of other like design issues with it that just don't quite work. I don't know.
Yeah,
But it
so, I
is
mean,
kinda crazy
Sony's
that it
going to
could-
have that risk in the back of their mind because that's
Yeah.
also a Sony game. They're going to be like, well, we just wasted 200 million or something in 8 years on Concord. So
Yeah.
Marathon better hit.
You guys remember it was probably like last year where Sony was saying, "Oh, we got all these live service games in development. This is gonna be live service. This is gonna be live service." But the guy who was running that initiative has retired, right? I can't remember that. Maybe you guys can remember his name. I can't remember, but
I don't recall.
Sony is now under like new leadership, or Sony's games division is under new leadership, and like all the live service stuff has been hitting like a ton of bricks. It's like the one from Naughty Dog, the Last of Us one got canceled, like reportedly due to Bungie's like advice, which I'd say is suspect at this point.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't know if you can really take that to the bank.
Yeah, Jim Ryan, thank you. Chat,
Yes,
help me out. Jim Ryan, who retired. Then we got Destiny feels like it's on the ropes. I would say, it's hard to say exactly, but Concord launches. I mean, it feels like it was a foregone conclusion that Concord was going to have a rough launch based on how few people played the free beta. And the pricing model was kind of like, I would say, out of left field for the kind of game it was. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, people who definitely expected a free-to-play game for a PvP hero shooter.
Yeah, for
And,
a PvP hero shooter, which Steam is launching a new one right now, and it's got like 90,000 concurrent players, and the
Talking about Deadlock?
Yeah.
Yeah.
DC has one coming out, and their beta went off big, so it's not like you can't launch one of these games in this day and age. It's just, I don't know. For me, that art style was an instant turnoff. It was like, we have Guardians of the Galaxy at home, like it just like it just felt like a cheap copy.
I think it was Tassie that tweeted out a picture of a character. He's like, I seriously, sincerely do not understand how this is the final design of a character. And he just looked like a canvas. It's just like, there was nothing. It was just a humanoid person with canvas colored skin, and that was it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I did play a fair bit of Concord during the beta. I thought it was okay. Like a lot of reports, I thought the bones was okay, but I didn't feel like it added anything new or any real reason to return to it. And if I wanted to get that experience, I could get a very, very similar or better experience elsewhere that's free to play and has a population. I mean, that's the reason why a lot of these PvP games go free to play is you need players for your matchmaking. Otherwise, everything just like snowballs down, right? Because then you have people that are waiting for matches, and when they do get a match, there's not many people there, so it's poor matchmaking, and they either get stomped or they stomp everyone else, and then more people leave, and the matchmaking gets worse, and then it's like you need to populate the servers as much as possible.
And when you get a $40 buy-in for a game that nobody's playing, like that's a snowball, right? That's a snowball effect coming. Yeah. Where it's just going to roll downhill. Well, I'm not going to buy that game because nobody's playing it.
Yep. Well,
there's nobody playing it, so I'm not going to buy
it. Well, from a personal standpoint, like I'm just after the decade that we have just been through, I am seriously just moving away from the live service model personally too, and just feeling like, listen, if I'm being quite honest, the best games that I have played in the recent years are games that are full price up front, and I know everything that's in the game, and I play it from start to finish and have a great time. I'm talking about Baldur's Gate. I'm talking about Elden Ring. I'm talking about Remnant 2 was incredible.
Yeah.
And then I go and I play a live service game, and I'm like, I got 2 lines of dialogue this week. That was
tune in
special.
Next week.
Cool.
Like and I'm just Batman thinking, TV series.
Am I getting older? Are these games getting worse? Like, I don't know what it is. But
yeah. I don't think games are getting worse. Like you just said, like 3 all-timers. I think.
No, I mean, are live service games getting worse?
If even the most like the live service games that have been relatively well received have still struggled with their first season. Nearly all of them. Like, look
it's
at
such a
Helldivers 2.
huge problem to like
Helldivers
launch with
2
that much.
had like a crazy launch, crazy amount of players struggle with the first season.
Yeah, but they
I
also
haven't
made
been
that
playing-
decision. Like you had to sign up for a Sony account, and that's an awful
Yeah, they
lot
had
of
a bunch
people.
of other stuff happen as
Yeah.
well. Yeah. I've heard that First Ascendant is like underwhelming. I don't know if you guys play First Ascendant,
No.
but I've
I
just
did a
kind
fair
of been
bit.
keeping my ear out for it. And I don't know, people didn't seem super impressed with like any of the content that just came out. Is that right?
The only I will tell you, I'm out of the loop right now because I haven't followed much of the first season. I know the sniper ice character Haley, I think is her name, launched, as well as a new region and a new Colossi fight. I had only seen that Goth was playing it and he was enjoying it, but Goth loves that game, and I really like the base model of the game, and quite frankly, just getting to the point where you can do the seasonal stuff and be like on par with it. You're looking at probably 60 hours of gameplay just to get to that point. So the game has a fair amount of content in there, and it is quite enjoyable. It's a great looter. It's very Warframey in the way that it's set up. So I'm not dogging on First Ascendant. I think
Maybe
it's a pretty
First
decent
Ascendant.
game.
Maybe it's a good example when they got it right.
I wonder if the post-pandemic
so I've been playing a lot of
has had a effect on live service games. Like now that we're back to, now that we're back to like hanging out with people, with our friends again, and like being like out and about, like maybe we're just like a little bit like, hey, I played a lot of my live service games during the pandemic when I was like in lockdown and I was at home. And now I want to do something else.
Yeah.
I also think it's hesitancy to commit to something because there's been so many failures too.
That's fair.
It's kind of like, okay, you want me to sign up, but like, are you gonna follow through? If I give you my time in season 1, are you following through in season 2? Like, are you still developing? Do you have a content pipeline? And obviously, that's like the super hard part about any live service game.
Yeah.
And like I was trying to say before, like Once Human also kind of fumbled the ball. Pretty good release. They got 10 million downloads, and then it's like we got through 6 weeks. Everyone's like, all right, where's the new content? Yeah, that's not coming to October.
Yeah.
What? But you can move to a PvP server. You want? No, I don't want to play PvP.
But it's like the community for live service games too has such a like an unrealistic expectation on how fast stuff should come out.
Around,
It's tough.
Yeah,
I mean that's why Remnant 2 was good, because it just did DLC. Like I feel like we're going back to that, where it's like release a good game and then we'll make DLC. I mean that's what Elden Ring did as well. Remnant 2 did that well.
Yeah. I want to talk about some Elden Ring actually.
I would love to talk about Elden Ring because I'm so
you're deep in it right now. Are you playing the DLC or are you playing the main game?
I'm not there yet.
Or is there a difference?
I'm not doing the DLC yet. I will get there probably, but for right now, I'm doing a completely blind first playthrough.
Oh man, I'm like jealous right now.
Dude, it's been wild. I've been loving it. So today, I hit level 70 today. And before that, I just did the Radon fight, General Radon.
Oh yeah.
And that was a trip. And I have so far done the entire game. I've not done a single Wonders Physic. I have not done a single summon. I have not.
You're like playing hard mode.
I have literally only done two-handed colossal weapons and dodge rolls. That's it. And I got to tell you, the hardest fight I have done was I was on my way. Chat was like, oh, in the northwest corner of the map, there's like a volcano-y area, and there's a really big great hammer up there you might like. And I was like, well, you sold me, because my guy's name is Chunk, and all he does is use giant weapons. So I'm just cruising up there. Chunk. I got to the top of this mountain, and there's this freaking falling star beast. And I was level 60. I was way under leveled for the area.
Yeah.
And I was using a club that was +3. That was it. And I pounded my head against the wall for probably 3 hours until I killed that thing, because I was just it was a 13-minute fight when I finally killed it, because I was doing so little damage. But I am loving it. And I love when chat is like, you gotta like leave and go level up before you can take this thing down. I'm like, You just convinced me
Challenge, yeah,
that
challenge
I'm
accepted.
staying. Yeah, and I love it, dude.
It's funny too because like everybody has a story about that game, or like their hardest fight. Some people, it's like, you know, the hardest boss in the game. A lot of people shared memory of that boss, which I'm not going to name right now. But a lot of people have like, no, that's not it for me. I like one shot that bitch. It was this dude that was like in this random cave somewhere, and
Yeah.
I spent like 2 days trying to beat this guy.
But then the high that you get when you
Oh,
finally
it's
kill
so
that
good.
thing,
Yeah.
dude, it feels so good. Like I could be having the worst day after that, but I'm still holding my head high. Like,
Are you
got in
streaming
a
your
car
entire
wreck, but man, I loved
playthrough?
it.
Or are you playing a little bit
Yes.
offline too?
I hate that I chose to do that because there are times where I'm like, I don't have the energy to stream, but I would love to
I
spend
just
half
wanna
an
play
hour
some
playing
more.
Elden Ring. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I can't do it because I told Chad I'd be streaming the whole
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah,
what
that
I
game
used
is
to do is just
phenomenal.
like level up offline. That's what I
Yeah,
would do.
that's not a bad idea. It's just go like,
Just, you know, just grind some mobs or whatever. Just get your stats a
Yeah.
little bit higher. No one's gonna miss out any bosses.
I've
Yeah.
done no farming for runes. It's just I just go from dungeon to dungeon to dungeon. I fought some freaky like necrotic Tweety bird. There was
oh
like this
yes,
giant
yes,
black Tweety bird.
Yeah.
That was memorable.
man. There's some real memorable bosses in that. There's. Have you fought the? Is it called the? Help me out here. It's the big. It's the big. It's not like a moose. It's more like a deer, like a reindeer.
Oh, that is a good
Oh
one.
yeah.
What is
The
that
Spirit
called?
Guardian. It's
Spirit
like the
Guardian.
Spirit
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the most magical boss fights I think.
Dude,
I've
yeah,
not
that
a
is good.
particularly difficult one, but a very
That-
magical one.
I love that fight because like the game can be really intense.
Yeah.
But that fight, you're doing a boss fight, but I've never had a boss fight that made me feel so relaxed as that one.
Yeah, that
Like
was
the
good.
music is really tranquil, and even the way that that thing moves is really graceful as it's hopping through the air.
you always
and you're
feel
like,
bad
I'm-
killing it, right?
Yeah, I was like sad that it was over because I was kind of enjoying the vibe.
Yeah. So I played that game in a very different way than you played. I played in a way as how do I like just beat the shit out of this game, right? And like by the end of it, I was so powerful that like bosses were trivial to me. Like, and
Yeah.
I'm not like a pro gamer, right? Like I'm not like a good reflexes, like
You lie.
like put your mind into this. I had just built a character that was so damn good that when I started then I went into New Game Plus and I started doing the same thing in New Game Plus and just like building up like the arsenal, right? It's just like I had everything. So when I went into the DLC after not playing for 2 years, I was like, I don't remember this game being this easy.
Uh-huh.
And I was just like walking through it, like literally just, and like I had to basically like say, okay, I need to like restrict myself to
Sure.
only like new DLC weapons and stuff that weren't like the most powerful stuff in the game, because like it had become trivial and boring to me, you know.
Mhm.
Which was sad because that's not what I wanted my experience with the
Yeah, I had the
DLC
opposite
to be.
experience with the DLC.
I'll say I feel like Mylan was like, I can't believe I committed to doing this whole thing.
Yeah, I actually uninstalled it. Like I was like, I'm not doing this. I don't like it. I like the base game. I didn't like the DLC.
I started after
but
they
that's only-
patched it to make it easier too.
Yeah, but I think I still would have had issues. It's not that it was bad. It was just like I didn't do what you did. I didn't have all the gear, and I had no idea. No gear and no idea. So it's like couldn't remember how to play. Didn't have the right tools for the job either. So it took a little bit to get back into it. I actually have enjoyed it the second time around now that I've got back into it. Yeah.
Good.
I've never played though a game that has such magical exploration. Just like it feels like in the base game, not so much in the DLC. I think in the base game, it just felt like around every corner there was something new to explore and something new to experience. It's just outstanding.
I agree.
Well, they've got that formula, right? Like, what was that? Like the open world formula where players, you know, if you travel for 60 seconds, you'll discover something or whatever. I mean, that's what Elden Ring does really well. It doesn't matter like which direction you go,
you will find something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's how packed the world is, whether it's a dungeon, a boss, an item, a vista, a material. Like, it doesn't matter what you do. which direction you go, you'll find something. And that's why, it's highly regarded as a fantastic open world game blended with, From Software's best boss designs.
Yeah.
I kind of want to. I just saw a comment in chat that I kind of wanted to bring back to Destiny real quick. It was Scott said, "Is there no Destiny 3?" And like, I think we've known for a long time that there's no Destiny 3. That's been like the public facing message from Destiny or from Bungie was that there was no Destiny 3, that they're just going to continue to work on Destiny 2. But I think there was a hope in many players' minds that there was like eventually going to be a Destiny 2. But there was another Destiny game that was being developed and now has been canceled, which is really sad.
I agree.
Well, I think the thing is, like, what other loot and shooter game do you have like dungeons and raids in? Like, this is the thing that I always come back to is like, where else can you get the same experience? And it still boggles my mind that no one's jumped on that yet either. Like all these other trends, like hero shooters and extraction shooters. Like, how many extraction shooters are coming out now? But no one wanted to compete with a first-person loot and shoot with that kind of end game activity.
Yeah,
I think it's just such a huge, expensive undertaking now.
Yeah, it's.
I feel like an extraction shooter is a much cheaper game to make.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah. But I don't know, man. I am shocked by the no Destiny 3 notion. Like, to me, it's just crazy that the most successful thing Bungie's ever done, they wouldn't see how far they could take that, triple down on it, go with Destiny 3, bigger, better, full send on the things that make their franchise so great with their raids and their dungeons. And allegedly we're still going to get raids and dungeons, but that the schedule for those things to be released is probably not going to be the same pace that we've been used to.
Well, yeah, it's a big unknown factor there, isn't it? I think I saw a tweet today, and this is exactly how I feel, is that's always been kind of the reason for me to get gear, is knowing that a dungeon or raid will come out and I'll be able to, partake in that. And that's kind of like why I would grind gear. And, some people grind gear for PvP. Some people grind gear for like PvE content, whether it's like Grandmasters or raids or dungeons. And then when you don't know what's coming, like it does definitely kill some of the motivation to get loot. Because like, well, why am I getting it then? Why am I getting like better gear if I'm not going to use it anywhere?
Yeah,
that requires it. So
I had this issue this week where you go ahead.
For me, it was the better gear looks exactly and plays exactly like the old gear. It's just theoretically more powerful. But it plays and feels exactly like the old gear.
I had this problem this week with the new exotic. I got it. I took it into a Master Lost sector on the Cosmodrome, right? It's nothing new. But I was like, oh man, this gun is so cool. I can't wait to use it in shoot. There's nothing to use it in. My raid team's done. Like, we get the raid seal. We've killed the witness dozens of times. Like GMs. I don't know. There's nothing.
PvP, mate. PvP.
It sucks in PvP, and PvP sucks. So that's the double suck. And I'm like, I don't know where to go to have fun with this thing right now.
Yeah, that's a tough spot. Tough spot for Destiny right now. Just rough Destiny time right now. It was a good like a month ago, right? It was like a month ago. It's so good. And
yeah,
Final Shape was a big high. How we have fallen. What else?
Any other games you guys are looking forward to? I got my own list of stuff I'm looking forward to. Interested to hear what you guys are looking forward to for the the final quarter of the year.
Well, I did play a bit of I've been playing Wukong and Deadlock, actually. I actually got into Deadlock.
Okay.
You guys are keen.
Talk about Wukong first, because I want to hear about Deadlock too.
Okay, so I was hoping to talk to Watts because my experience changes last week. But you know what? While she's not here, I'm going to spoil her stories. So there are two bosses. Like, Wukong's fantastic. It's boss rush mode. The environments look great. I will want to make a correction, though, on last week I was like, it's pretty linear. Like, you know, you step off the hidden path to like find a secret boss. There is one of the chapters that is way more convoluted, like a little bit more backtracking with like secret items to open up other areas and like very easy to miss other bosses and items. So that was kind of cool. It also is a little bit exhausting, like finding everything, but cool if you want to like find all the bosses and work that out. So correcting what I said last week, definitely more complex in environmental design depending on which chapter you're in. Like it starts off pretty linear, chapter 1, and then ramps up. And I want to say, maybe chat will correct me, I think chapter 2 and chapter 3 are probably the more complex ones, and it tapers off a little bit towards the end. But I was stuck. Like a lot of bosses, you might get it on your first attempt or your second attempt. But there's definitely some roadblocks. Like if you're streaming it, people are like, oh yeah, I was stuck at this guy. Like nearly every time. So I was stuck at these 2 bosses for a good amount of time. She's like, she's like, oh no, that's a big boss energy. Like that temple. So she goes and explores everywhere. She comes back and like just one taps the dude. Just first attempt, and like the
Watts is really fucking good at video games.
I don't know if you were aware.
I was watching, and I was like, that's it. I'm getting in the chat. I was like, I'm like, all right, it's over for me, everybody. I'm handing in my gamer card. Like this is ridiculous. I was here for so many hours on both these bosses each, and you just one tap.
She's really good. Not only is she really good, but she also plays a shit ton of Souls. Yes, So she's like especially really good at those games.
But
really fast at dialing in tells and timing.
Yeah.
Here's the thing with doing like that, and it's a similar experience with like Elden Ring, is if you missed a boss and you're like over leveled and you come back and you just like slam them, you do miss out on a little bit of some of the enjoyment, because like some of the enjoyment is seeing all their moveset and like learning their moveset and then like 100%. Getting that like heroic moments.
There is joy in just beating the snot out of him the first time. Though. There is joy in that. Don't discount my experience.
Yeah, that is true. There is.
I had that with a boss in Elden Ring. It was like this. It was like a blue crystalline guy, and chat was like, "Here we go." He hit me one time in the entire fight, but I basically stun locked him, kept breaking his poise, and he was dead in under a minute. And chat was like, "Are you freaking kidding me?"
Yeah,
that was supposed to. A lot of that to be here for an hour.
A lot of that is just like like individual gamers, kind of like just like what they expect and like how they react to certain stuff. Also, your build. Also, like like how good are you at parrying opposed to dodging? Like some people just like go in hard on parrying. Some people go hard. It's a lot, but like constantly that story. Liza P. I was like, I had the boss like kind of before the final boss. I took forever, 2 days like working on this guy.
Yeah,
but the last boss no problem. And then I talked to somebody else like I had the exact opposite. It's like the last boss was hard as hell. So it's weird.
Yeah. And Wukong's quite nice in how you can make builds and the items you can get. So like one of the bosses I got stuck on, if you went and did like a side quest with a secret boss, it gave you like an item. He has this like final stand bullshit where it like makes a tornado that just roams around.
Do not like.
And as soon as you're doing a combo, it just throws you up in the air.
Yeah.
And you're like, this is gold. There's an item that there's an item you can get that counteracts that. And will stop that like happening, so you can just focus on your DPS. I've died multiple times in the final stand.
There's this old Castlevania game that I used to play called Rondo of Blood, where the bosses would explode after you beat them. So I
hate that.
And you were close range because you're hitting them with a whip.
Yeah.
So you'd hit them with a whip. You'd finally beat them after trying like 7 times, right? But you'd only be like down to 2 hearts of health, and then it'd explode and you'd die, and you'd be like, no! I hate that shit.
Yeah.
Do you think Wukong is going to have like lasting power? Do you think it's like, I'm going to play this one time through and I'm going to kind of forget about it?
So there is a new game plus. I think it will have the stay as any single player game in that category. Probably less than something like Elden Ring, which has a lot more exploration where you can you definitely would have missed stuff on your first playthrough. there is some opportunity like with the new game plus stuff to like test your build and to go back and like really kick everything's ass. But
Are there any branching paths, like decisions that you make to get a different ending, stuff like that?
yes, I believe so. I can't tell you for certain because there's only so much I've done. I
Yeah.
can give an example of like one boss was like a father and son, and depending on which order you beat them in, it actually changed some of the boss mechanics, and I think
Oh,
it
interesting.
changed like a mini cutscene after it. And I do think maybe chat can correct me. There are alternative endings, and also there is a little bit of story in side quests too. Like one boss I fought, I actually hadn't done this like backstory. You get like a prologue to his character, and you fight with him. And then I was like, oh, this would have been good to know before I beat him. Like, so I did heaps of stuff like out of order as well.
Sure.
So that's kind of nice.
Yeah. When there's multiple endings, do you guys ever play through the game again, or do you just go on YouTube and look at the other endings?
It depends on the game. If I enjoyed the game enough, absolutely. If it was like, I don't know that I want to go through another full 40-hour playthrough to get to this point again, then I'll just look it up.
Yeah, I'm a one and done kind of person usually. I
Yeah,
go
me
on
too.
there for like the new experience, and I don't typically do new game.
I might come
plus,
back to it
but-
like 4 or 5 years later and play it
Say,
again.
Mass Effect 2, that's a different story. I
Yeah?
played through that game like 5-6 times just to see what
Like in a
kinds of
row?
endings and stuff like. Oh yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
Well,
That's a long
okay,
game, too.
well, and to be fair, Mass Effect 2 was a gift from my wife because it was I was basically bedridden. I was in a motorcycle accident and I had a long road to recovery, and I was doped up on drugs for a long time. And she was like, "Hey, I bought you this new game people said was really good." And so I just like drugged up on the couch playing. I was like, "Oh, this is really fun. I really like this." And yeah, then I was hooked. So I had a lot of bedtime to just sit there and play it and get through it all. But a game like that, absolutely, I'm going to see every single ending.
That game was fantastic.
Mhm. Nice.
Was that the one where they had like the ending where like your party, like individual characters in your party would die depending
Yeah.
on like different paths you took?
But you could have no deaths. It
Yeah.
was a very long, tedious setup, but you could do it. Yeah.
That was a good game.
Oh, phenomenal game.
What was on your list, TV, of games you're looking forward to?
So Dragon Age, October 31st, I think.
I completely
Yeah.
forgot that's coming out this year.
I'm definitely there for that.
Have there been any like early previews of that? Like have people played that early to kind of get a feel for it?
I don't know if there's like early gameplay previews from outside sources other than just the stuff that we've seen from the studio themselves. I could be wrong.
Uh-huh.
But I mean, Origins was such a big high for me. Dragon Age Origins was so good. And Inquisition was all right. I know a lot of people were the other way. I think it just depends on what you played first and what your
Origins for me
preferences
was
are.
the big one.
Yeah, Origins was definitely it for me too. But I'm definitely really looking forward to diving back into that world again, and that they've done a great job of keeping that narrative string running through the multiple titles. So that's on my list for sure. I know that a lot of people were not vibing with Starfield. I actually really enjoyed Starfield. I don't think it's a perfect game by any stretch, but the best stuff Starfield has to offer, there it is right there, baby. Heck yeah. Did you wait in line at a GameStop for that? Because
No,
I sure did.
I think I just like randomly picked it up. I had no idea.
Yeah.
You know, just it was like, oh my god, I can't believe how much I'm loving this game that I just randomly found.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I've had those games too. But anyways, the best stuff Starfield has to offer are not the like procedurally generated planet exploration. That stuff honestly kind of sucks. But the tailor-made like story beats and environments that Bethesda did are incredible. I mean, it's very Skyrim-esque where everything's so finely tuned and tailor-made to be a really cool environmental storytelling kind of a vibe. So the new DLC, Shattered Space, comes out in September, and I will definitely play that because it's exploring this strange cult called the House of Varun, and they're like these worshippers of a giant celestial snake, and you encounter these zealots during the main game a ton, and you're like, is the snake real? I kind of want to know if the snake's real. You know what I mean? So I'm going to play it, and I'm going to see if we find out if this celestial snake is a real thing. So I'm there for that, and then the other one is Avowed, but that's February of next year. So
That's
those
the
are sort of the
Obsidian one,
ones
right?
on my So New
That's the one I'm
Vegas
most concerned about. Like,
earned so much respect for Obsidian for me, so
yeah,
I'm here for it. And
what was their last big game? Was it?
What was their last
It's
one?
the one in space. It was. God dang it! I forgot the name of it. Outer Worlds. Right?
Outer
Was
Worlds is
that it?
good.
Yeah, Outer Worlds and Outer Worlds 2. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't even realize they made Outer Worlds too.
But the other game that they earned a lot of love from me for was actually one. I don't know if you've ever played it. It's called Grounded.
No.
It's
Oh yeah.
Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
I did play that.
Survival game.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Freaking loved that game. Freaking loved it.
Everyone I speak to who's played that said it's really good, but I feel like it never really got much attention. I don't know why.
It's so good, man.
It was
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Great story beats, and it plays really Souls light, where there are different bugs like wolf spiders, praying mantises, and stuff like this that you can encounter that have movesets, tells, you can parry. It's really Souls light. It's got pretty forgiving windows, so it's not like super hardcore, but it's that
Harder
same
than
vibe.
you think for like what seems from the outside to be a little bit of a kiddie game. Like marketed almost like it's like, hey, this is for your family to play together.
It's so good.
It is good.
And my wife normally loves playing survival games with me, but she refused to play that one with me. She tried it a few times, but there are too many spiders in it, and she does not do spiders. Especially when the spiders are 2 stories tall because you're tiny. But I loved it.
Did you guys play Deadlock?
No.
What's it?
So this is the Souls Light that they're claiming it's Souls Light, right? But it's set in
Deadlock.
This is the MOBA third person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I don't know.
This is Valve.
Oh, this is the new Valve game. My bad.
Yeah.
No, I didn't check this out.
So it kind of got leaked, and then Valve was like, "Fuck it, have a play test." Is that kind of the
because for a while it was don't talk about Deadlock, don't whatever you do. But it almost feels like, honestly,
best marketing ever.
Like brilliant marketing. It was like Fight Club. It's like whatever you freaking do not talk about this. Do you want me to sign an NDA? No. There are no NDAs, but you don't talk about it. And then everyone's like, dude, you got to try this. This is really, really freaking cool. And you can like extend invitations to friends, right? If you're in the
on Steam,
That's the whole point. Like it was supposed to be like this snowballing thing. Like don't talk about Fight
true.
Club, and then just grew and they've got a way more successful than Concord already. That's for sure.
I know, and the game looks very early alpha. There's a lot of placeholders and like unfinished textures, and it's like, I've been playing it. I've only played maybe 5 hours the last couple of days. Interestingly, I feel like it's a good MOBA experience. After every game, I ask if you like it, and I keep saying no, and then I play another game up to like midnight. It's like, did you have fun? It's like, nah, next game.
You again.
But it's very as someone who doesn't really play MOBAs, like I haven't really played League of Legends or anything like that. There's a lot of transferred knowledge from those games. There's a whole bunch of similarities.
Sure.
There are some key differences as well, but you definitely notice when people have a long history in MOBAs. Like I'm sure Watts will be really good at it, just from like strategic aspects of MOBAs, right? Like how you play them and how you make builds and stuff. But I really like the theme of it. I'm pretty sure Savathun's voice is in there. I don't know if anyone can confirm. Yeah, there's definitely a voiceover of one of the announcers that straight up sounds like Savathun. And so the theme's actually kind of cool. It's like old English kind of theme, but all the characters seem pretty interesting, and I've been just rolling through them and trying them out and getting absolutely pummeled in nearly every match, but still playing it.
Heck yeah.
I'm glad. That's free to play. It's been a while since Valve like released the game. It's not developed by Valve though, right? Who's it developed by?
Don't know. I don't know anything about it apart from having played it.
Uh,
the other thing on me list, Space Marines 2, obviously.
Yep.
Oh, man.
Next week, baby.
Yeah. So enjoy the launch. Think of me.
yeah.
A week from
Dude,
today.
I played through Space Marines 1 on the Xbox 360. I bought the Warhammer, the Hero of the Impedium Omnibus, which is this is like 3 books in one.
Holy cow, dude, that's hardcore.
God.
I read the first book; it was fantastic. My man, the hero of the Imperium, Caiaphas Cain, what an all-star.
See, I bet it'll be available, but we should have.
They have a Warhammer magazine.
Yeah, we got to have Henry Cavill on the show next week. He's a Warhammer
let's
nerd.
get him.
Yeah,
let's get him in.
extend an invite to him, and you can chat it up with him. Get nerdy.
Yeah, I'll text him.
Do it.
I am way into this. I can't wait for the new game to come out.
Heck yeah, man.
I'm gonna make my name Henry Cavill, so people think I'm him, and then go into PvP and shit talk people.
That's a great idea. With an Australian accent.
Are we gonna finally play something together, Briar? Oh my gosh.
I'm in.
Are we squatting up? Space Marines PvP, baby.
I wonder if there's crossplay. Are you guys playing on PC?
I want to play PC.
Yeah, I'm gonna play PC too.
Yeah, we on PC. Yeah.
Frostpunk 2 is coming out this month as well. That game is really exciting.
Is that this month?
Yeah. Did you guys play Frostpunk 1?
I did not.
Hold on, I'm thinking of Fragpunk. What's Frostpunk?
Frostpunk was, imagine a city builder,
oh yeah, I have seen this. Right?
Sim City or something, but it's on a really small scale. It's like centered around this one heat generator in a world that has gone like the day after tomorrow cold, right? It's like too cold to be away from like a really hot like source of heat. And your job is to, like, the apocalypse has come, you're like one of the last communities in the world, and your job is to keep these people alive in kind of like a god mode game, like Sim City or something like that.
Yeah.
And you are forced to, as time goes on, your goal is to make it like, I can't remember, like 5 years or something. And as time goes on, the resources are depleting, and you're forced to make worse and worse decisions. Like,
oh no,
like I want
to gotta eat the children.
Right, it is. It's that kind of decision. I don't think they tell you got to eat the children, but it's like a decision is, look, we can keep these children, like as children, or we can reinstitute child labor and like up production by 20%. And you're like, shit. Well, I don't want to do that yet. But then the next year, you're like, oh man, like we're really like, are the children gonna die? Like, is everybody gonna die? Or are these children gonna be working in the mines getting cancer? Like it's that kind of a game. It's so fun.
Yeah, you really sold me on it. These kids gonna get cancer. I love this game.
When you put it like that, yeah, suddenly it seems a little dark. But it's just one of those games that you're just like, you're constantly making these decisions. Plus, you're like building these awesome structures. You send out like, I don't know. It's just a lot of fun. It's a weird game for sure.
Donner Party Sim City. That's a good way to describe it, chat. That's what it sounds like.
No, I've never really got into like those kind of sim games.
Great stream game because you're getting a chat involved in the decision making.
Sure. Lives.
It's a lot of fun. Yeah. And they came out with a bunch of expansions for the first one as well. What else you got?
The Dune MMO. I can't remember when that's releasing, but that's kind of got me excited because
I'm interested.
I obviously got really into Once Human. I'm making content on Once Human. I enjoy that, but it is pretty janky. So anything that's kind of MMO mixed with survival crafting.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of interested in that genre because for me, it's really filling the like community aspect that I miss from like having a Destiny game where you all work together towards a boss, or you pull your resources together. I don't think I spoke about that before, but in Once Human, there's like world bosses that take like 40 people to take down. And so you're coordinating in the server, like who's got materials to craft bullets to like take them out and stuff like that. Yeah. I was like, man, I just kind of missed that aspect of working together for like an overall goal.
Sure.
So the Dune MMO definitely has my interest with like, having a faction and working towards something and taking on bloody what are they called, worms, giant worms.
Yeah.
The sandworms,
Fi- fi-
baby.
f-
I'm hoping that with the
Sandworms.
footage they showed at Gamescom was really early. That's what I'm hoping.
See,
Well,
I don't mind if it doesn't. Like I heard people say, "Oh, it doesn't look that good."
It doesn't.
I don't mind. I thought it looked fine as
I'm
long
gameplay
as
driven.
thing is you got to consider it like a survival crafting game because they always look dog shit because you have
Yeah.
like you have everyone's fucking base on the server, right? All the bullshittery they have
Yeah.
everywhere. And then this is the kind of issues you get so much latency. And for a PvP game, you kind of need it to play well if it's going to be PvP enabled all the time. So I don't mind it not being graphically the best because I just know if you go play Ark or Rust, like just how poor you can have gameplay. Or
I play a
once human,
ton of
it's like,
survival games made by like 2 to 5 people on the team that made this thing, right? And it just you're used to it not looking amazing, but
yeah,
being
yeah.
really fun. Like I'm playing a lot of 7 Days to Die right now, and it looks like a freaking Xbox 360 game.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah,
It does not
yeah.
look good, but it's super fun.
So I do think it looks good for a survival crafting game that's MMO because you got to imagine that everyone's running around all at the same time in a massive. I don't know how big the servers are, but you got a lot of stuff happening. So I think if it plays well, I won't care too much, to be honest.
It might be too that's just seeing it in that environment where it's like trailer. It's like you get used to like the kind of average graphical quality of like the
Sure.
trailers
Yeah,
they're
true.
showing on the stream,
Yeah.
and then something like that comes up, and it's like it's
Yeah.
like you said,
Yeah.
they got different priorities.
Yeah, because I think one of the things I noticed with going to other games that like not Destiny is when you don't have these instance environments. So like in Destiny, you go into a strike mission, right? And you've only got 3 people in there, or you go into a raid, you've only got 6 people in there. And that gives them a lot of bandwidth to like make everything look really nice and run really well. And I can play with you in America and almost like not feel any latency with PvE. And then you go into these like big servers, these MMO crafting survival games, and you're like, as an Aussie, like I'm shooting stuff and things are dying a minute later. Just like bang! It's like wait for the bullet, wait for the server to register, wait for the information to come back. And it's like you kind of take a hit when you start putting lots of people into a single instance being like a big MMO map.
Yeah.
TV, I just wanted to show you this. I opened up that Dragon Age box, and first of all, the manual for this game, look at how many pages in this manual.
Isn't that beautiful?
It's amazing. And then inside, it's
an ad for you got a code for. I love it.
Nice.
That's great.
And the last one's Monster Hunter. I mean, Watts has been covering heaps of Monster Hunter coming out next year as well. Looks cool.
When are we expecting that? Is that going to be early next year? We're thinking February.
I think it's
maybe?
early 2025. Yeah,
we don't have a date though, right? Just 2025.
I think so.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that too. I'm hoping that the beta comes out too this year, so we get a chance to mess around with it a little bit.
Do you have a certain weapon affinity in that game, Briar?
No, not really. What did I use in World? I can't remember the name of the gut thing, but it was like it was half giant sword and half gun. It was cool.
Was it the gun lance?
Yeah, that sounds right.
I was a Great Hammer guy. I know people meme on the Great Hammer.
Great Hammer was fun too.
I just love spinning with that thing.
Yeah, spin to win.
Good feeling.
That was a fun hammer. The Great Hammer was good. I also like the switch sword. Was that what it was called? It was like half shield, half sword.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Was that what it's
called? I get some of the. There's like the switch axe.
Switch axe. Maybe that's what
I get them all confused.
I do too. It's been a while now since I played it. I wasn't a one weapon person. I played with a lot of different weapons because it was fun to like learn them.
I can't
Except
remember
for the bow. Never got into the bow.
No, I didn't either.
I don't know if Watt said this on the podcast or if she said it in a YouTube video, but she was talking about how you get asked like a series of questions about how your play style, and that helps you select like your weapon when you load into the new Monster Hunter. So yeah, you can kind of go, I like doing this. I like, do you like big weapon? Go bonk. You're like, yes.
Yes,
Do
I
you
do like bonk.
close quarters? Big bonk. Yes. And then it'll like provide some suggestions of the weapons you should use.
I live by the bonk.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's all that's on my list, I think. That's the schedule. Hoping Space Marine will pop off. I'm hoping Once Human will keep going well. Then we'll have the Dune MMO, and then we'll have Monster Hunter.
Yeah, pray for us, chat, that these games go over well so that we can, have channels that thrive again. And
Yeah.
Bit of a mood.
I don't know. I think Space Marine's going to hit pretty big, honestly. I think that's going to be its own game.
So.
Yeah.
The early reports are good. I mean, the old one, Space Marine 1 was fantastic, even though it's an older game. And the new one just seems like you got the campaign, you got better gameplay than you ever had before. You got these Tyranids they're putting like millions of these things on screen. It seems
I was blown away by how good it looked with all of those on screen at once.
Yeah. And then you got the whole like Left 4 Dead mode where it's like a multiplayer game. Plus you got different classes that you can play, plus weapons and armor that you can customize. Plus you got like the whole, like you can literally do your whole like paint your character, like customize them that way. I don't know. I think there's gonna be a lot of gameplay there. I don't think it's gonna be like a forever game. I think it's gonna be a fun game.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like, I think it might be similar to Helldivers 2, where I like loved the hell out of it for like 150 hours, and then kind of didn't have much more to do, but didn't make it a bad game. It just means I had a really good 150 hours, and then.
And they got a season pass, so they must have DLC planned. I don't know what this season like. We were talking about this before the stream. Is that they're selling like 3 different versions of this game, like the regular version, the gold version, and I don't know, super ultimate edition. And like
for the Emperor version.
Yeah, right. Praise the Emperor. And if you buy the 2 expensive editions, which is like $90 and $100, you get early access, which is a good amount. It's like 4 or 5 days early, 4 days.
Yeah, it's a whole weekend. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like 4 days. But
it's like, it's kind of hard to see what else you get. Like, what are you paying for here?
Yeah.
Like, like as a streamer or like a content creator, it kind of makes sense to you want to get the early access. But as like a normal person, which I'm not a streamer, I am not, I'm not going to make any YouTube videos off this. I'm just going to play it for my own enjoyment. So I'm probably not going to buy it. But like, am I going to regret it? Because am I going to be like missing out on cosmetics, or I'm going to be missing out on like, what am I missing here? It's like, I go on Steam and it just doesn't show it. It's kind of weird. And I find that with Steam a lot. It's like, there's 3 versions of this game and I have no idea what the difference is.
They really should be, they should be monitored more. Like if you're going to ask people to pay additional fees for like future seasons, you should have to like say what's in it. You should not just like, oh, you get access to season 2, season 1.
Don't ask us what's in there because we don't even know yet.
Yeah, I mean that's usually the case, right? It's like, hey,
it depends on how good the game sells, I guess.
yeah, we'll see how well the game sells.
Yeah,
and then we'll commit to it.
Yeah,
I mean, because that's the risk for them is they commit to a season and then it's like, well, you have a Concord launch, and you quite literally have made 700 players times 40.
I think Star Wars Outlaws had like $140 price tier as well.
Wow,
it's just confusing, especially for a game like that. It's like, this isn't like a live service or
reviews on that game have been all over the place.
I basically gave it a mediocre score. I think there's redeeming stuff about it. Yeah, I did. I played a lot of it. I got a review code. I played it for like 6 days straight. There's a lot of stuff in there that I like, and there's a lot of stuff in there I don't like. As far as like, if you're a Star Wars fan, you're just gonna love being in the Star Wars universe. You're gonna love being able to cruise around Mos Eisley and hop into cantinas, and eat food, and talk to Jabba at his palace. Like, you're going to love being in the Star Wars world for sure. And the interaction with the different crime syndicates that you've met, especially, I mean, we've known the Hutts for a long time, but then there's like the Pikes that we've encountered in The Mandalorian and the Boba Fett series. You got the Crimson Dawn that you met some of them with like the Solo movie. So if you're a Star Wars fan, there's a lot there to like, but there's a lot there that's really kind of clunky. Like there's this whole idea around taking contracts for different crime families because you want to build up your affinity with them. Because as you build your reputation with a certain syndicate, let's say you wanted to be like Jabba's right hand man, you're like I'm totally Team Hut here.
I want to be his left hand gal. You know what I'm saying?
There you go. And that's totally doesn't surprise me about you either. But let's say, because this happened to me, for me it was the Crimson Dawn. I liked their whole aesthetic, this really sleek blacks and reds, emphasis on stealth. And I maxed out my affinity with them over the course of several hours of gameplay and contracts. But then the main story beats force you to double cross basically everyone at some point. And with one mission I did in the main storyline, it tanked my reputation with the Crimson Dawn all the way back down to indifference. And I was at max reputation. And when you max out your reputation, you get like access to their innermost rooms and gear, and you get like set armor sets, but the armor sets bonus is only active if you have a really good standing with that family. So I just worked my butt off to unlock all this cool gear for them. And then the story, it didn't tell me before I started the mission. At the end of it, I had to betray them, and there was no other option. And then I lost access to all these rooms I had just gained access to. I lost access to the perk bonus on the armor I was wearing, all of it. And I was like, man, I now have to go grind another couple hours of dumb contracts to get back in their good graces. I hated it. So very clunky with the reputation system.
Interesting.
If you're gonna have a reputation system, you kind of want it to matter, right? Like you kind of want.
Right, that's exactly right.
If you invest in a certain clan, you want to get special missions with that place rather than like being forced down the main route and then just have
and also
that,
be
like,
locked out of other
away.
missions, right?
Yeah. And it completely took the agency out of it. Like as a player, your power of choice. It's like, why am I making these choices if the game's going to force me to do these things anyways?
How's the
other
gameplay?
thing,
Like, how's the minute-to-minute gameplay feel?
The gunplay's not great.
Really?
The stealth stuff is pretty good. You have like this
if you like
little,
stealth.
Yeah, if you like stealth, and I usually don't. But that game there's like an overemphasis on stealth. Like you can go guns blazing, but just know that the gunplay is clunky, and it's really not the most optimal way, or even the fastest way to get stuff done. So I ended up trying to stay away from the guns ablazing approach, and the stealth gets repetitive after a while. Like you do unlock new abilities, like concussive grenades and smoke grenades, and then you have your little pet Nyx, and it's cool once you learn how to control him. You can have him running around the room and like distracting people, jumping in front of cameras, sabotaging alarms, and all that kind of stuff. But it's just slow, right? If you're taking advantage of all the tools and abilities that you have access to, clearing one room could take you 15 minutes, and you just feel like you're treading water. You're not getting anywhere fast. So
I don't like stealth games. Like I just don't have the patience for it.
I'm the same way, Briar. I had to force myself to finish the game. It's not that the stealth systems were bad. It's just that I found them monotonous and not exciting.
Yeah. I think to me, this just based on the reviews, this seems like if I see this game on the shelf for like $20, I might pick it up then. And I was excited about this game, honestly, 2 months ago.
Yeah.
Bummer.
Oh, just to go back for a moment, because chat was saying that they have updated the Steam page for Space Marine 2, and you can see what's in some of the seasons.
Okay.
So, free updates for Season 1, ultra-wide support, private PvE lobbies, battle barge, sparring arena. So, looks like
This is
something
on
to
the
do with
Steam
PvP.
page?
Yeah, it's on the Steam page, but it's like it's a graphic in the, like at the top, you'll see there'll be a year 1 battle plan. You'll be able to see a graphic that shows you what's going to be available. Like normally with the video plays, on the Steam page, there'll be an image in there.
Oh, yeah. I'm looking at it right now. Year 1 battle
Yeah.
plan. 2024, 2025, season 2, 3, 4. Sure.
Yeah. So season pass gets you all the cosmetics. So like season 1's got Ultramarine, season 2's got Dark Angels.
Oh, Dark Angels are
They
sick.
all look like just skins basically, cosmetic stuff in the season pass. And then the free-to-play stuff, like season 2 is new PvE missions, new difficulty level, and a weapon and a new enemy. So yeah, so like pretty similar things each season. Season 3, new PvE mission, new PvP game mode, new PvP arenas, new enemies, new ranks.
Ultra
Battle
wide
Barge
support is a weird
expansion.
thing to have in your season pass, isn't it?
What's that?
Ultra wide support in your season pass? It's a weird thing to see.
I
in
mean,
there.
I feel like there's a niche amount of people that really want ultra wide, but I don't know. Like, I feel like Holtzman's like that, right? Like he always plays ultra wide. It's always like,
Yeah.
oh, there's no ultra wide support.
Yeah. But it's weird to see it in a season pass.
Yeah, I wouldn't think those like kind of update stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe because people expect it. I don't know, because it's a good looking game. I mean,
It
it
is
would be a
good-looking
great game to have ultra wide, right? When you have like all the enemies like rolling in. So
Yeah.
maybe it's something that's on people have asked about and they've put it in there.
Yeah, I found that the graph that shows like the difference between the different editions, like it says the difference between like gold, ultra, and
Gold
regular.
and ultra.
Yeah, it's like you get 4-day early unlock, you get the season pass in ultra and gold, and then you get the Ultramarines Champion Pack in Ultra Edition. But like nowhere does it say what is the Ultramarines Champion Pack, like what is included. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't know. Good find on that other graphic though. I didn't see that.
Yeah, that was all chat. Right. Okay.
I don't know. I'm into it. I'm looking forward to it.
Same.
I have been playing another Warhammer game. I just wanted to talk about it real quick. It's called Rogue Trader. It came out a couple of years ago, or a year ago, and it's a CRPG. So it's
Yeah.
it's it's like Baldur's Gate kind of, where you
Yeah.
you party up, you play like a pretty traditional role playing game where rolls of the dice matter big time. You're not literally rolling the dice; the computer's doing that behind the scenes. But I put about 5 hours into it so far, and I'm really enjoying it. You're on the ship where you're a rogue trader is kind of a weird term because you'd think that you'd be like a smuggler or a trader, but in fact that you have a contract with the government where you are in charge of going to kind of the outskirts of the universe or the galaxy and finding places that have not been discovered since the breakdown of society about 10,000 years ago that still may have human life, and anything you find there you get to keep, because you're taking all this risk. So you're exploring this world from the perspective of somebody who's on this ship, like kind of like going into uncharted territory. It's been pretty fun so far. The story is good, the characters are good.
Cool.
Combat in these games is what it is. It's like you're clicking a button and then you're, did I hit? Did I miss?
Yeah.
It's like it's not super visceral, but it can still be fun. The story is very good. There's a lot of voice acting, which is nice. I think the voice acting
I'm
might
just
be
kind of
front-loaded.
enjoying like all the Warhammer games you've been trying, bro. I would just get like an update on a new Warhammer.
I'm just into Warhammer right now. It's like I feel like I've discovered a new Star Wars that I just didn't know about, but they've been making content for it for 40 years.
Yeah, you should definitely play Darktide. You should try Darktide. Sure.
Yeah, I played Vermintide. I played Vermintide 1 and I played Vermintide 2.
You didn't like it?
I did, but I just heard Darktide wasn't that good. Maybe it's better now that it's been out for a while.
It's better now, yeah.
Yeah.
What about do you like the Total War series? Because isn't there a Warhammer Total War?
Yeah, there is. I might have it in my Steam library actually.
I think I've got it too. Never played it.
I think there's like 3 of them actually.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're 40K though. They might be like the old, because there's fantasy Warhammer and there's sci-fi
40K.
Warhammer. Yeah.
Copy that.
It is fun. Also, check out what's his name? If you're into like learning about the world of Warhammer, I found this channel called Luton09. He makes awesome videos, lore videos, but he is fully aware that people may be falling asleep to listening to his videos, so he speaks softly.
That's great.
They're pretty good videos though. He goes into depth that are often like hour-long videos where he just talks about like a topic in the Warhammer universe, and just it's a nice chill video if you got like a short drive somewhere or something like that. Do you guys listen to audiobooks while you drive? Do you listen to podcasts?
Mhm.
What do you do when you drive?
Yeah, I like to
I
listen
don't
to
drive
audiobooks.
anymore.
You don't drive anymore?
Well, I work at home, and the only time I drive is to the gym, and it's like 5 minutes away.
Oh, okay.
And I'm just honestly, I don't even have the radio on. I just leave myself to my own thoughts.
You're like
Just for
Tefty,
fun.
fucking psychopath. You're just like
Yeah, just
raw dog
complete
driving
psycho.
silently, just
Yeah,
thinking about thoughts.
yeah, just for 5 minutes. 5 minutes just of like no phone, no screen, just me and my own thoughts. No music, nothing. Just complete psycho territory.
TV, you said
yeah,
you do audiobooks?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I recently I've read through the Brandon Sanderson's works multiple times, but the newest book in the Stormlight Archive comes out in December, so I started the whole series back over to sort of get myself ready for it. So I just finished listening to all those in sequence.
Did you see his Kickstarter? Brandon Sanderson, because he did the Mistborn series, right?
Yeah, that's right.
So
yeah.
it's tabletop RPG Kickstarter.
I did see something about that.
So their original goal was 367,000.
What are they
Do you know
at?
how much? Do you know how much is that now?
$500,000?
21 million
Whoa!
Are you freaking kidding me?
on Kickstarter.
Wow.
Holy crap, dude!
Dude, I was talking about this on stream yesterday. I'm pretty sure it was only on 19. It's gone up 2 million since.
That's insane. I didn't know that.
That's amazing. I've never heard of this author. I got to check this out.
Oh, it's a great series. I prefer the Stormlight Archive. I know some people think the Mistborn series is better, but to each their own.
Yeah,
but if you're looking for a good
reads a lot and she likes it.
Yeah, if you're looking for a good entry point to his works, I'd start with The Way of Kings.
Sweet.
Nice.
The Way of Kings. There it is. You can buy it right on his website. $12.99 for digital audio. He's got a good website.
Well, his works are stellar.
Yeah. All right. My wife is big on this too, so she'll want to know about this.
Heck yeah.
Sweet. Should we do some Twitter questions?
Sure. Yes. I gotta ditch this hoodie though. I'm sweating bullets in here.
Yeah. Let's see here.
Okay.
I should have
Better.
probably set this up.
I always feel like I'm bad at Twitter questions because I'm not good at coming up with answers on the fly to really creative questions.
This guy Sim says, which superhero or villain is most like you, and how would they go out about basing Barrett? Listen, this guy Sim, you're not welcome here. But what
Human
superhero
Torch,
or
my
villain?
job is easy.
Yeah. What superhero or villain is most like you?
Shoot.
I feel like it's the Incredible Hulk for me. It's not about the strength; it's about the anger. When I get angry,
it's
man,
it's about instant anger.
Oh man, I used to have a problem with it when I was young. Like I used to fly off the handle. I've gotten better about like kind of controlling myself, but I still feel it though.
Sure.
You know?
I'd probably be like Cyclops from X-Men, the real, or even Colossus from X-Men. Real straight shooter.
Yeah.
The moral tends to be like hey, we got to do it by the book. Got to do it right, guys. Yeah, that'd probably be me. I'm always like, oh, I could be the bad guy. And I'm like, no, I can't.
Yeah, I can't even play the bad guy in a video game. Like I try and I just
me and my buddies are doing an evil playthrough of Baldur's Gate right now. And it physically hurts me. But when I'm like, this is one of my favorite characters, and we're gonna like completely betray her and enslave her to sap her strength for another century.
Hate it.
I feel horrible.
I was like, okay, I can definitely do that because I often do that. I mean, Elden Ring, I killed all the NPCs just to see what Chad's reaction was.
That sounds about
I
right.
respect it.
Like
I think it would be
Loki
fun. I just can't follow through.
Yeah. Gotta be doing it for a joke, I think. My villainy is always like for the fun of it.
You like the Joker? Just like to see the world burn?
Just for the chaos of it.
Yeah, I mean, for the chaos of it, but I would hope I have a little bit more mental stability than the Joker, to be honest. But maybe I'm spiraling down that.
So give it another year.
Yeah.
Just wait till you have to do like elementary school drop-off line when you're taking your kid to elementary school, and the way that these other moms and dads drive their vehicles. Like, I'm a pretty even-keeled person, but I have been ready to throw my door open and jump in front of traffic, waiting to drop my kid off at school many times.
Well,
I'm ready to throw hands in the parking lot.
At the moment, Leo's been waking up at 4:20. 4:20 plays it every day.
Yeah.
I don't know why. That's the time he gets up now.
Yeah,
knows?
put some soundproofing in that room. You know, just kind of like get some of that foam, and just line that room right up.
Yeah, it's here you go, Leo. You've got a streamer room. There's fucking blackout curtains, audio sound. But yeah, he slept in today, and of course, I woke up at 4 o'clock now. Like,
Yeah, because
okay,
your
great.
body is now trained.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, to wake up at 4 a.m. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
And then you
Cool,
wake up
cool,
and then you
cool.
gotta pee.
That's right. And now you're like, I'm awake.
Yeah.
I may as well go get some work done.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it was a hard moment for me when I decided, you know what, I got to start going to bed at like 10 o'clock at night. Like I have to do that, you know, like because I have to wake up so damn early now that to get 8 hours of sleep. 10 o'clock.
Yeah, that's
What
when you know
did-
you're an adult.
What did it for me was when my body decided that, because I was always like go to bed late, get up early guy. I'd run on 6 hours of sleep, no problem, for the longest time in my life, until eventually my body got to the point where it's like, no, if you get less than 7 hours of sleep, we will have a migraine and your entire day will be ruined. Period.
Yeah, agreed.
You won't feel good until dinner time the next day.
Yeah.
So I had
And you're
going
gonna
to
be a grumpy bitch. And everybody around you's gonna hate you because you're being a grumpy bitch.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that sucks. Well, getting old sucks.
It's not a vibe, dude. I'm telling you.
Right? I would like to opt out of that contract.
Right.
Endgame Express says we're only a few weeks away from a potential Nintendo Switch 2 or Super Nintendo Switch announcement. What features do you want to see from the new console? Do you think it'll be a standard upgrade, or do you think Nintendo has cooked up something brand new? I've thought about this a lot.
Like, I don't know. You're a bit. I'm not. I wouldn't say I'm a Nintendo fan to the point of like following hardware announcements.
Same.
Okay.
But I'm not against Nintendo. Like something cool comes out, I'll be there playing it. But I'm not on the level of following announcements for hardware.
I've thought about
Where
the
you
Nintendo Switch 2 a lot because I have quite a library of Nintendo Switch games. I really like the Nintendo Switch. I like the portability of it. I like the fact that it's easy to just like sling it into the dock and you're playing on this big screen.
Mm-hmm.
The power of it doesn't really bother me. The convenience of it and like the software library and how it's been embraced by indies has really been amazing. Like the indie library for the Switch has been kind of my favorite part about it. I'd really like backward compatibility. Like that's kind of my number one feature is I want all my current Nintendo Switch games to work. I want the cartridges to work with the Nintendo Switch 2. I'd really like the OLED screen to be standard on a Nintendo Switch 2 because it's so much better than the LCD screen. The OLED screen is I don't want to like have an LCD screen because it's cheaper and then an OLED screen 2 years later like the Switch or like the Steam Deck. And I really like the Joy-Cons to be compatible as well. I'd really like that system to continue.
Well, I would like the Joy-Cons not to fucking break.
I would like that too. I would like that too. Please don't
like
break
regularly charge properly.
They don't charge properly? I haven't had that problem.
Yeah, I mean mine's pretty old now. It's getting to the point where the connectors aren't like making proper contact, so they're not charging the dock. Then you go to play it and they don't work. And I've got like probably 3 controls with stick drift on them.
Oh, right. I have the Hori controllers, which are just like
I don't have them.
Yeah, they're just big controllers. These work great. They're not.
Oh,
they're not
that
wireless.
looks
Though.
way
They have
better.
to be. Yeah, they have to be attached. And it's got like
right.
back triggers.
Paddles.
Yeah.
Right.
It's really nice. It makes it really comfortable to be a handheld. The standard Joy-Cons are a little too small for my hands, like I cramp up.
Yeah.
Yeah. That'd be interesting. So when's that being announced?
I don't know. Endgame Express says in the next couple of weeks, but I don't think
cool.
they've confirmed anything.
I mean, did you see the Zelda stuff? The Zelda,
yeah.
game?
The Adventures of
that
Link.
looks interesting. Yeah, that looks interesting.
Yeah, it does.
At first I was like, not really for me. Then I saw like the puzzle mechanic for it, and I was like, that's kind of cool. Yeah, maybe I would be into that.
Yeah.
I'll
give every Zelda game a shot, and I'll probably enjoy about a third of them.
Yeah.
Fair.
Blandy McBlanderson says, of the following 5 items, 4 are real names of actual marsupials, and 1 is fake. Oh my god, thank God you're here, Mylan. I feel like you're our marsupial expert.
Sure.
So which one is the fake? I'm going to read all 5 of them.
Okay.
Let's listen to all 5 before we make our decision. Gilbert's Potoroo. Woodward's Wallaroo. Monjon, spelled Monjon. Bruce's Gliding Villainous. Greater Bilby. All of these sound Australian.
There's definitely a Bilby.
There is?
Like that's a real one. A Bilby is a.
Is there a greater Bilby and a lesser Bilby?
A Wallaroo's a thing too, yeah.
Yeah. Is it Woodward's Wallaroo?
I don't know about Squidward's Wallaroo.
Yeah, the ones with the names I think are gonna get us because I don't know if they're.
There could be a Wallaroo, but not a Woodward's Wallaroo.
I haven't heard of a Wallaroo. There's a Wallaby. There's a kangaroo.
What's the first one again?
Gilbert's Potoroo.
I'm going with that one.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shit, we don't get to know the answer until next week. God damn it, I hate that. I'm going with Bruce's Gliding Villainous.
Sure.
That's so random.
The Greater Bilby. I don't think there is a Greater Bilby. I think there's only a Bilby and a lesser Bilby.
I mean, that would be sneaky if it was just because it was a greater Bilby. I think that's a bit bullshit.
Yeah.
If that's the answer, I'm not having it. No, I'm not liking it.
That's right. We're going to have to throw down Blandy. We got a problem. Twisted Joystick Podcast says, what games do you wish you could play on the regular? Also, what's your favorite? God damn it. What games do you wish you could play on a regular? I mean, we can play any game we want on the regular.
Yeah, we're in a pretty privileged position where we get to just play it all, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think if there's a game I can't play on the regular that I'd like to.
I'm always a sucker for going back and playing Kingdoms of Amalur again, but it's hard to justify because my work hours, I need to play games that I can make content on, and my gaming time for me is usually shared with my wife. So we do a lot of like cooperative stuff. So,
no, I'm very similar, but I've got my gaming time at night time where I can play whatever. So.
Yeah, I don't think if I want to play a game, I just play it. On the regular too. It's like I'd want to be playing it like constantly.
Consistently, yeah.
Yeah. There are games that I like throw in like more than once a year, but they're mostly like retro games like NES or Genesis, that kind of thing. Where I
How about like
rip through it in a half hour?
Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 back when it was relevant, like games like that where you can't really just like you can't just go back and I can't just go back and play Halo 3 at the time that Halo 3 was the thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I really did like Modern Warfare 2, and you can't really play that anymore, right? Because it's all been like hacked to shit.
Yeah, not really. Not the same way it used to be.
Yeah, I did really enjoy that time. Black Ops 1 was my jam. Did you guys see the Black Ops 6 trailer?
Yeah.
It just made me depressed. There's a Black Ops 6.
Do you think the Omni movement makes it more appealing or less appealing?
I don't even know what you're talking about. What's Omni movement?
That's like the big kind of, I guess, like announcement selling point of it is you can run in every direction and like basically dive in every direction. So, usually you'd get like a movement penalty for like walking backwards, right, or strafing.
Yeah.
But this is just kind of like running in all directions
That's weird.
and diving in all
There
directions.
should be a
So you
penalty
can just,
for walking backwards. You're retreating.
so yeah, no, you can like
I took
almost
the
like
S key
jog.
off of my keyboard. I don't ever retreat. I don't even have the key. I only walk forward.
Yeah, I don't think it's be for me. I mean, I can hardly hit shots in Call of Duty as it is, let alone when someone's flying around.
I know, full
diving.
belly flopping. I watched some of the clips that of people like just sprinting around crazy, 360s flopping on the ground shooting. I'm like, dude, I would suck at this game right now.
Yeah. Yup. That's where I'm at.
Knox Morn says, been a while, so I'm coming in with air quality index updates. 177 in Dubai. Dang, that's high. This is get me out. What's your favorite boss's encounter in Black Myth Wukong? Excuse me. Mine is the Scorpion Lord. I think I was there for 4 hours, almost lost a thumb, but sweet loot. Dude, that Scorpion Lord looks sick. I haven't played the game yet.
I haven't played it.
I haven't seen Scorpion Lord yet.
I've seen video of it. It looks sick.
My favorite one so far is I can't remember the name. He looks like Master Splinter though. He looks like a giant giant awesome. Master Splinter.
Okay.
And
does he have staff?
It's cool because
Or
he's got like
stick?
a wind staff. Yeah. It's cool because he has his own backstory, and you kind of, this is the one you play like the prologue to get like the item to beat him. So he's got a little bit of like environmental storytelling in there, and quite a cool boss encounter. And you know how in Destiny you go in snow and you leave like a trail in the snow?
Yeah.
It's like that because you're in sandy desert, and so when you're moving around, it leaves like trails in the sand, and even your staff has like a hitbox. So if your staff like tips down to the sand, leaves like a little trail. So it's very
cool.
like as you're going up, it's pretty epic. Like as you're
got
approaching
Conan
the boss.
dick physics.
Yeah. Exactly my thoughts.
Yeah, of the bosses I've seen, and I haven't played the game yet, but that bear looks amazing. Like it just looks sick. Last question of the night, and then we're gonna call it a wrap for the evening. Charles B. Davis says, "What was the last great podcast you listened to? Last great podcast?
Girls Who Don't D&D.
Oh, interesting.
It's
What's that about?
It's an
Is it the title?
experienced dungeon master. Yeah, that's the title of it. It's an experienced DM.
Oh, that's good.
And it's a group of girls, these
Who don't D&D.
Australian girls who've never D&D'd before.
Good concept.
And it's just this great back and forth where he's like, I can't believe this is what they're, you know what I mean? And they're just rolling with. It's actually really funny.
That sounds funny.
One of the girls is just scorched earth. He's like, and then this guy is trying to help these citizens get out, but you think he might be doing it wrong, you have your own ideas of how he should do it. And she's like, she's the barbarian. She's like, can I just break his arm? I'm going to break his arm. He's like, you want to break his arm? Like, force your will? She's like, yeah, let's do it. She rolls a nat 20. He's like, you killed him. You murdered the town elder. It's
Dead.
just good. It's just good fun stuff like that,
Nice. I can't remember the last podcast I listened to.
You don't drive.
Because I don't drive, but we did go on a holiday. I might listen to that on the way down this next holiday. TV, that might be fun.
There you go. It is really fun. Fun show.
There was something I did listen to and I found it interesting, but I can't remember now. Don't have it.
I got one in mind, but I don't even know if I should shout it out because the podcast has changed in such a dramatic way that I don't want to be associated with it in any way.
Oh no.
Yeah. But like back in the day when they had this guest on, I'll say who the guest was. It was Bob Lazar. Do you guys know who Bob Lazar is?
Oh, the aliens.
The alien guy.
Oh.
And it was such an interesting podcast because he talked about like how the government had covered up like his identity and his past, like going to college, and like it was like a 4-hour podcast, and me and my wife were sitting there. It was like a video podcast. We were listening to it and watching it, and we're like, is this guy telling the truth? Because he also like made a rocket car. So like like he's a little crazy.
He's definitely a little crazy.
But his story was so convincing, the way he was telling it, but also he's talking about aliens. I don't know. It's a really fun podcast.
I reckon that's probably my favorite kind of topics, actually, is like space science.
Oh.
Yeah.
Like that stuff always fascinates me.
I just found a new YouTube channel that I would love to shout out. It's called Dr. Betty. And she talks about space topics in a way that I've never had the kind of understanding that I have of these topics, like dark matter or dark energy, or how the James Webb Telescope, why it's so important. And she does it really quick, 10-minute videos. They're not like super long videos. And she does a really approachable language. And man, like I've never understood what the deal is with dark matter. Like I knew that there was something about the universe that like it didn't make sense. There wasn't enough mass in it, observable mass in it, and now I completely understand it. I was so impressed.
Mm-hmm. My favorite thing is when you listen to those podcasts, like, oh my god, I get it, and then you try to repeat it to someone else, and you're like,
I can't
and
do
then
that.
it's like dark matter, and anyway, it's really interesting. Have a listen to it.
Yeah.
Have either of you ever read any of the Expanse novel series?
Yeah. No, I haven't read them. I only saw the show.
I think I tried to listen to them. I can't remember.
Books are quite good, and it has the two co-authors. They have like the actual scientists consult to help with the explanations and how things work and the physics behind it all, which is really quite fascinating.
Oh,
so
that's awesome.
That series does a really good job of incorporating like actual physics properties into sci-fi and having it be integral to the storytelling itself too. So great series.
I was watching a great video about that show and how they had different like versions of how they simulate gravity on the spaceships and how they did it like in different ways. Like they had like constant acceleration, and they would just like, so the whole trip you'd constantly accelerating at a specific rate to simulate gravity, or you'd have like a rotating mass so that like if you were on the outer edge of this thing, you could. It was really fun. Yeah, they did a good job with that.
Maya Sundaresh in Destiny 2, one of the core characters in the show is portrayed by her. Yeah. Shorey, I always pronounce her name wrong. It's like Ashladu or something.
Oh yeah,
she's super great actress.
Lakshmi
Lakshmi.
Sundaresh.
Yeah.
Very distinct voice. You'll recognize her.
Absolutely.
Instantly. Yeah.
All right, guys. Good podcast, I think. Right? Okay.
I agree.
Nailed it.
It was always fun hanging out with you guys. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Whatever you're doing. We'll be back next week. Oh, I won't be back next week. I'm going to.
I won't be there either. Actually,
I won't be here either.
Oh man,
It's my week off. You're gonna have.
We
Lego?
won't see you at all next week. Some other dudes in this will be on this podcast.
Lego, Watson, Fran.
Yeah.
Boom.
I'm going to a pool party.
Wait,
though, and I'm excited.
Who's team A? Who's team A and who's team B?
Oh, we're definitely
I'm B team. Let's be honest.
Yeah, we're B team.
Listen. At least we all know. We're aware. Chat's well aware too. Like they're like, yeah, we knew that. We knew
We're
that.
under no illusions here. All right. Thank you all for watching. We'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.